Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to tackle something a listener specifically requested: mindfulness of in and out breathing.
Oh, very nice.
You've given us excerpts from a meditator's tools and some sections from Buddhist texts.
Right.
So let's explore how to actually apply these ancient teachings to, our modern lives.
Oh, I love that. It's fascinating how these texts offer a really practical, step-by-step approach to mindfulness. It's like they've laid out a road map for us to follow.
Exactly. So if we look at section 30, it describes mindfulness of in and out breathing as a meditation practice where you focus on, your breath. Seems simple enough, right?
Yeah, the simplicity is key. It's about using something we're already doing, breathing as an anchor for our attention.
Yeah.
You don't need any special equipment or skills, You just need to be present with each inhale and exhale.
Okay, that makes sense. But section 29 mentions 5 qualities that make this practice easier, and some of them sound a bit intense. Yeah. It talks about being a person of few duties, eating lightly, embracing wakefulness, being learned in beneficial teachings, and finding a secluded space.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I can't exactly drop everything and become a hermit scholar.
I hear ya. It sounds like you need to move into a cave and live off berries.
Yeah.
But remember, these texts were written centuries ago in a very different context.
Right.
What's important is understanding the principles behind these qualities.
So it's not about literally becoming a recluse.
Right.
It's about minimizing distractions.
Precisely. These qualities point to the importance of creating a conducive environment for practice.
Right.
Think of it like this. You wouldn't try to have a serious conversation in a noisy nightclub, right?
Yeah.
You'd find a quiet space where you could really focus and listen.
Yeah.
It's the same with meditation.
Yeah.
By minimizing distractions and cultivating inner stillness, we create the space for deep listening, not just to others, but to ourselves.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So how did those 16 steps of breath meditation fit into all of this?
Yeah.
Section 30 goes into a lot of detail about them. And I have to admit, it feels a bit overwhelming.
It's true. 16 steps can seem like a lot.
Yeah.
But they're not meant to be tackled all at once.
Okay.
Think of it as a gradual progression.
Okay.
The first step, as we discussed, is simply becoming aware of the breath.
Right.
Noticing whether it's long or short, deep or shallow.
Right. And then as you progress through the steps, it becomes about more than just the physical sensations of breathing.
Exactly. As your awareness deepens, you begin to notice the feelings that arise in connection with the breath. Maybe a sense of calmness, ease, or even restlessness.
Right.
Eventually, your attention expands to encompass the mind itself, the thoughts, perceptions, and intentions that are constantly flowing.
Wow. So it's like the breath becomes a doorway to deeper self-awareness.
Yeah.
Is there a particular step in this progression that you find particularly powerful?
For me, the step that focuses on relinquishing is incredibly profound.
Okay.
It's the 10th step, and it challenges us to let go of our clinging, our desire to control our experience.
So instead of trying to force ourselves to feel calm or relaxed, we just observe what's happening without judgment.
Precisely. It's about allowing each inhalation and exhalation to arise and pass away naturally without grasping or resisting.
Right.
And as we do this, we start to cultivate a deep sense of peace and freedom.
Yeah.
That freedom is really the essence of this entire practice.
That's a really beautiful way to put it. Now, how does this all connect to the 4 establishments of mindfulness?
Right.
Section 30 mentions those, but I'm not sure how they fit into the picture.
The 4 establishments of mindfulness provide a framework for applying this breath awareness to every aspect of our lives.
Okay.
They're like 4 lenses through which we can view our experience with greater clarity.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Break it down for us.
Okay. The first is mindfulness of the body. This is where breath awareness comes in.
Right.
By paying attention to the sensations of breathing, we're cultivating a direct experience of our physical embodiment. This can help us become more attuned to our physical needs and sensations and ultimately feel more at home in our own bodies.
And then there's mindfulness of feelings, right?
Exactly. As you become more sensitive to subtle sensations, you begin to notice the feelings that are always present, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral.
Right.
By observing these feelings with mindful awareness, you gain a deeper understanding of their impermanent nature.
Yeah.
They arise, they linger, and then they pass away.
Right.
This understanding helps you avoid getting swept away by strong emotions.
So instead of being controlled by our emotions, we learn to observe them with a sense of detachment.
Precisely. And this detachment, or rather this non-reactivity, brings us to the third establishment, mindfulness of the mind. This involves becoming aware of the thoughts, perceptions, and intentions that are constantly arising and passing away. It's about recognizing that thoughts are just thoughts. They're not necessarily facts or truths.
So it's like we're developing a mental muscle. The ability to step back and observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them.
Exactly. And the final establishment, mindfulness of mental qualities, builds on this awareness. It encourages us to observe the qualities of our experience itself: impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self.
Whoa. Okay. Those sound pretty deep. Can you elaborate on those a bit?
Of course. Impermanence simply means that everything is constantly changing. Nothing stays the same forever. Unsatisfactoriness refers to the fact that we often crave things that don't bring lasting happiness. And we push away things that we think will bring us pain. And non-self points to the idea that there is no fixed, unchanging self. We're a collection of constantly changing physical and mental processes.
There's a lot to take in. So basically, by developing mindfulness through breath meditation, we're not just learning to relax, we're gaining profound insights into the nature of reality.
You got it. And this is where the real magic happens. These insights, if cultivated over time, can lead to what the Buddhists call the 7 factors of awakening.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Tell me more about these 7 factors of awakening.
Well, let's dive into those after a quick break.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back.
So these 7 factors of awakening are essentially qualities we cultivate through mindfulness practice that lead to greater freedom and well-being.
Okay, that sounds pretty amazing. But what are they exactly?
They are mindfulness investigation of phenomena energy rapture, or joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity.
Wow, that's quite a list. It sounds like a recipe for a truly awesome life. But how do these factors actually play out in our everyday experience?
Well, mindfulness, as we've been discussing, is the foundation. It's about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Investigation of phenomena encourages us to look deeply into the nature of our experience, to explore our thoughts, feelings, and sensations with curiosity and openness.
So it's not just about being aware, it's about actively exploring and understanding our inner world. Exactly. And as we do this, a natural sense of energy arises. This isn't about hyperactivity, but rather a feeling of aliveness and enthusiasm for life. This energy, in turn, can lead to feelings of rapture or joy, a deep sense of contentment and well-being.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these factors build upon each other. So what about tranquility and concentration?
Tranquility refers to a state of inner peace and stillness. It's the ability to remain calm and centered even amidst the ups and downs of life. And concentration is the ability to focus our attention on a single object, whether it's the breath, a mantra, or a particular task.
So it's like we're training our minds to become more focused and less reactive.
Precisely. And finally, we have equanimity. This is a state of balance and acceptance. The ability to meet all experiences with an open heart without clinging to the pleasant or pushing away the unpleasant.
Wow, equanimity sounds like a superpower. So basically, these 7 factors of awakening are like a roadmap to a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
You could say that. By cultivating these qualities through practices like breath meditation, we gradually free ourselves from suffering and awaken to our true potential.
Okay, I'm totally on board with this idea of awakening. But let's bring it back down to earth for a moment. Section 32 of the Buddhist text talks about more immediate benefits of breath meditation, like reduced fatigue, mental clarity, and overcoming negative thoughts. It's not all about reaching enlightenment, right? This practice can actually help us deal with the everyday stresses and challenges we all face.
Absolutely. Those benefits are very real and tangible. In fact, they're often what initially draws people to mindfulness practice.
So it's like we get a taste of the good stuff up front, which motivates us to keep going.
Exactly. And as you continue to practice these benefits deepen and expand, you might find yourself becoming more patient, more compassionate, not only towards yourself, but also towards others.
That's incredible. It sounds like a win-win situation. But before we get too carried away, I want to bring up a point from section 33. It tells a story about some monks who became overwhelmed with the practice and started engaging in extreme behaviors like holding their breath for extended periods of time.
That's a valuable reminder that even with something as beneficial as breath meditation, balance, and skillful application are key, it's not about pushing ourselves to the limit or striving for some idealized state. It's about finding a sustainable approach that integrates mindfulness into our lives in a way that feels nourishing and supportive.
So more about gentle persistence than forceful effort.
Exactly. And this is where guidance from experienced teachers can be invaluable. They can help you tailor your practice to your individual needs and provide support along the way.
That makes sense. It's like having a personal trainer for your mind.
Yeah.
So if someone is listening to this and feeling inspired to start incorporating breath meditation into their life, where should they begin?
The best place to start is simply by finding a comfortable posture, either sitting or lying down, and bringing your attention to your breath.
Okay.
Notice the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your nostrils, or the rise and fall of your abdomen. Start with just a few minutes each day and gradually increase the duration as you feel comfortable.
Okay, that sounds doable. But what if my mind starts to wander, which, let's be honest, it inevitably will?
That's perfectly normal. It's what minds do. The key is to simply notice when it has wandered and gently guide it back to the breath. Don't judge yourself or get frustrated. Just start again.
So it's like a mental workout, strengthening our ability to focus and be present.
Exactly. And like any workout, consistency is key. Even a few minutes of mindful breathing each day can make a difference.
Any suggestions for fitting into a busy schedule?
You can try practicing first thing in the morning to set a calm tone for the day, or in the evening to unwind before bed. You can also incorporate mindful breathing into everyday activities like waiting in line, washing dishes, or walking.
So it's not just about formal meditation sessions. It's about integrating this awareness into our daily lives.
Precisely. The ultimate goal is to cultivate a state of mindfulness that permeates every aspect of your being.
Speaking of everyday life, how can we use breath meditation to deal with the inevitable stresses and challenges we all face?
When you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, pause for a moment and bring your attention to your breath.
Right.
Notice the sensation of each inhale and exhale. As you do this, you'll naturally start to calm down and create some space between yourself and your reactions.
So it's like hitting the pause button on autopilot. Instead of reacting impulsively, we give ourselves a moment to respond with more awareness and clarity.
You got it. Breath meditation provides a powerful tool for navigating the ups and downs of life with greater skill and ease. It's like having a built-in stress reliever that you can access anytime, anywhere.
This is all starting to make sense.
Yeah.
But how can we take this practice even deeper? What are some ways to move beyond basic breath awareness?
As you become more comfortable with basic breath awareness, you can start to explore some of the more advanced techniques we discussed earlier, like focusing on the qualities of the breath, its impermanence, its lightness, its spaciousness. This can lead to profound insights into the nature of reality.
That sounds fascinating. But I imagine it takes quite a bit of practice to reach that level of awareness.
It does, but the journey itself is incredibly rewarding. Remember, the key is to approach the practice with patience, curiosity, and a willingness to learn.
And to not beat ourselves up when our minds inevitably wander.
Absolutely. Mindfulness is a practice, not a performance. There's no need for perfection. Just show up with an open heart and a willingness to be present with your experience, whatever that may be.
That's a really encouraging message. So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the ancient teachings on breath meditation, its profound benefits, and how to actually apply it in our daily lives. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question to ponder.
I love where this is going.
Now that you've explored the depths of breath meditation and its practical applications, what subtle shifts in attention might you notice as you go about your day?
That's a great question to contemplate. Maybe you'll find yourself becoming more aware of the sensations of your body as you move. Or perhaps you'll notice the rise and fall of emotions with more clarity.
Or maybe you'll find yourself pausing more often to appreciate the simple beauty of the present moment.
Exactly. The possibilities are endless. And remember, the journey to greater awareness and peace is an ongoing process. It starts with a single breath.
Beautifully said. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We encourage you to continue exploring these teachings and to discover for yourselves the transformative power of breath meditation. Thanks for joining us. Before we go, I'm curious about something. Like we talked about the monks who push things too far. We've also talked about creating like a sustainable practice.
Right.
How can our listener know if they're on the right track?
Right.
How do we balance that enthusiasm with, not holding our breath for an hour?
That's such an important question.
Yeah.
And it highlights a key principle in mindfulness.
Okay.
Self-compassion.
Okay.
This practice isn't about striving for perfection or pushing ourselves to the limit.
Yeah.
It's about being kind to ourselves, honoring our limitations, and recognizing that we're all works in progress.
So it's okay if my mind wanders 1,000 times during a 5-minute meditation.
Absolutely. In fact, noticing that your mind has wandered is a sign of mindfulness.
Wow.
It means you're paying attention.
Okay.
The key is to gently guide your attention back to the breath without judgment.
That takes the pressure off. It's like we're giving ourselves permission to be human.
Exactly. And remember, this is a practice, not a performance. There's no need to compare ourselves to others or strive for some idealized state.
Right.
The most important thing is to simply show up with an open heart and a willingness to be present with your experience, whatever that may be.
I love that. Show up with an open heart.
Yeah.
So if our listener is feeling inspired to create a daily practice, where should they start?
A good starting point is to choose a time of day that works best for you.
Okay.
Some people find it helpful to practice first thing in the morning to set a calm and focused tone for the day.
Okay.
Others prefer to meditate in the evening to unwind before bed.
Right.
Experiment and see what feels most natural for you.
Okay. So pick a time and stick to it.
Consistency is key.
Right.
Even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes each day, make a commitment to yourself and show up for your practice.
And what about creating a dedicated space? Does it need to be something elaborate like a meditation room with candles and incense?
Not at all. Find a quiet spot in your home where you can sit or lie down comfortably.
Okay.
It could be a corner of your bedroom, a cozy chair, or even a spot in your garden.
Yeah.
The important thing is that it feels peaceful and inviting to you.
So it's more about creating a sense of intentionality than having the perfect setup.
Precisely. And remember, you don't need any special equipment.
No.
Just your breath and your willingness to be present.
That's great. So let's recap. We've talked about choosing a time, creating a space, and being consistent with our practice.
Right.
Any other tips for our listener as they embark on this journey?
One thing that can be incredibly helpful is to find a teacher or a community to support you in your practice. There are many wonderful meditation centers and online resources available.
It's like having a guide in a cheering section to keep you motivated.
Exactly. And remember, the journey to greater awareness and peace is an ongoing process.
Right.
There will be moments of ease and moments of challenge.
Yeah.
But the more we practice, the more we cultivate the qualities of mindfulness, compassion, and resilience that can help us navigate the ups and downs of life with greater skill and grace.
Beautifully said. Well, folks, we've reached the end of our deep dive into mindfulness of in and out breathing. We hope you found this exploration insightful and inspiring.
Yeah.
Remember, the journey starts with a single breath.